MPBN will broadcast the Your Vote 2010 gubernatorial debate live on Thursday, October 28th at 8 p.m. Between now and then, we have invited all of the candidates to appear on Maine Watch so that you can get a chance to meet them. On this show, we will meet Paul LePage and Libby Mitchell. We start with Republican Paul LePage, who is mayor of Waterville and general manager of the Martin's retail stores. Paul, welcome back to Maine Watch.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Elliot Cutler and Kevin Scott last week. Why do you want to be governor?
Basically, for me, I'm a product of the American dream, and I see that government in Maine is, I believe, going in the wrong direction. It seems that the Maine people are working to feed Maine government rather than Maine government working for the people. And so I believe that Maine people need a chance to the American dream, and I've reached the point in my life where it's time that I give back to the Maine people.
You have called for a full review of every government agency. What do you believe you will find that other governors who have also done reviews of every agency have missed?
Well, the last 16 years, my predecessors as governors haven't looked at and haven't evaluated the regulatory system in relation to the impact, the adversarial impact of job creation. And that's really what we're going after. We're going to look for all the regulatory red tape that exists in the state of Maine that has an adverse impact to creating jobs.
Well, one of the things that you've called for in your plan is a time limit on the amount of time before somebody has an answer when they want to propose a new business. Would that apply for every business, every type of business, or would there be some limitations on that?
There may be some limitations that are due to technical reasons, but for instance, Plum Creek. It took the state 5 years to give a yes or a no on an application to build a development. You know, a lot of things happen in 5 years, and I just don't think that that's appropriate. I think that we need to have a quick review that says, yes, it meets the goals of the state or it doesn't meet the goals of the state much, much quicker. And then you put the scientists, the biologists, the geologists to work to make sure that everything can be met and everything will be environmentally safe. But where I have a problem is just spending 5 years. And in that particular situation, it was handled by LERC with meetings in Portland instead of Greenville.
So what do you think should have happened? I mean, this is a really interesting issue because people are so divided on Plum Creek and continue to be so, even though LERC has already given its zoning decision. What do you think should have happened in the Plum Creek situation? If you had been governor, what would it have been like under your
my administration is, if Plum Creek owns the land and their proposal will not hurt the environment, then they should have the right to do what they want with it. Unlike some people in Portland say, well, I don't want them to have a development because I like to go hunting up there. Okay, then buy the land.
So you said it was interesting though, you said if they own the land and their proposal wouldn't hurt the environment, could you figure out in 90 days whether or not the proposal would hurt the environment?
Well, I would tell you that, and I would maintain that if you build 700 houses on 1 million acres of land, that a little common sense would tell you that's not going to hurt the environment unless you're building the homes with mercury and lead.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about another topic too. I was reading, looking at the Maine Education Association newsletter, and they claim that your proposals will force the layoff of 6,000 to 7,000 educators because of the plans to reduce state and local revenues. Is that accurate?
No, absolutely not. I have no idea where that came from. It's the first I hear of it.
Okay. Your plan as far as education, do you believe that Maine's education system does need to be downsized then? I'll ask it in that way instead of the 6,000 to 7,000 jobs.
No, I think what happens with the Maine, I don't know where that came from, because my position on education is I think we need to toughen our standards so that we challenge our children, and we need to make the teachers accountable. I'm looking to have world-class students come out of our K through 12. In matter of fact, I'm adding an option of you can get a 4-year diploma or a 5-year associate's degree. So I don't see cutting teachers. I think it's just the opposite. I think that we work a relationship between the university, the community colleges, and the K through 12 system so that we can better educate our kids and get world-class students coming out of our schools.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's such an intriguing idea, that partnering with the community colleges and the university system, kids could graduate from high school with not just a diploma but an associate's degree. At the same time, that sounds like something that would cost money. Where do you find the funds for something like that?
Well, we're already spending the money through K through 12, and we're spending the money in the community college system and the university system. It's really more of an attitude change in getting the university and the community college and the K through 12 system to understand what we need to do to get our kids prepared for an associate's degree after 13 years of school. Now, what it may cost more on the education side, you may need more teachers, but what it does on the Maine people side, being at 80% of the national average, it lowers the cost of education, because while their kids are going to high school, they're at home and they can come out with an associate's degree. 2 years of an associate's degree, be transferred to the university system for a bachelor's degree. So I think that maybe while on the state level it may increase the cost, from people's standpoint it reduces the cost of higher education.
You've been quoted saying that the Maine Human Rights Act, which protects gays and lesbians from discrimination, needs to be reformed. What do you mean by that? What kind of reform?
The kind of reform I'm looking at, and my opponents say I wanted to get rid of it. What I'm talking about is very simply this. When a claim of discrimination goes into Maine Human Rights, the Maine Human Rights will send a letter and they'll make the business or the organization or whomever is being charged or accused has to do hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands of hours of work getting material prepared for review by the Maine Human Rights. In my business career in Maine, 40 years, we've been there 5 times. We are 5-0. We have never found any merit for any charges, but we have spent hundreds and thousands of hours and dollars preparing for a hearing. I think we have to have a pre-hearing to see if there's any merit before you send the company or the organization out to create all this, spend all these resources getting material that is unnecessary.
Well, Paul LePage, we're out of time. These are quick interviews. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you again October 28th for the debate.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here.